everyone. We welcome you again on the Destination Ministry TV, and we are with our guest, Pastor BOSE. How are you?
I'm very good. Welcome, guys. We are happy to be with you again and to have this discussion this time with you. Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking.
So today we are very blessed to have you, and you have many questions. You know, we have many questions.
Always have many questions, right?
But today I wanted, you know, I am a mom. I have 6 children. I have some teenagers, and I wanted to know how to manage them in their faith. What can how can I do? And it's not only for me, for all parents that are seeing us.
Okay. So, yeah, that's a very important question because, you know, children, they don't remain young or little forever. They are constantly growing, and there are different stages of development. The first 3 years, 5, 7, then the teenager. Before we discuss teenagers and faith, I think it's very important to discuss teenagers as personalities, as people, you know, without church or without anything. And I'm happy you are a doctor, so I'm sure you also study this when you are in the university, that the adolescence period, the teenage years, they are very dynamic years. Because a lot is happening in the body. And when something is happening in the body, it always affects the external. And the interesting thing is that often when there are no discussion with the teenagers, they don't know what is happening to them. So they feel a kind of unease with themselves. They see that they are growing. For girls, their breasts start growing, the hormones, they start noticing what they weren't noticing before. They feel they are grown up, they feel they know everything. And it's a very sensitive time that parents must really know how to manage their children, because it's very easy to lose children during this time. Many parents and teenagers, they have their relationship broken this time due to misunderstanding. I know you also have teenagers. What can you say about this period of life, you know, the changes? What can you say about that?
Yes, you're right. It's a period that they have, they are not children and they are not adults.
Children,
yes,
and they are
adults.
Somewhere,
yes, and they are searching for themselves. They are searching to know, and I think it's difficult for me also to know how to handle. Sometimes I'm so strong, so straight, and sometimes I know I
have to be
a little bit, yes.
Yeah.
So it's yes, you are right. It's a difficult period.
Yes. And another thing is that, you know, a lot is happening in there because when they were young, they were just growing, and now the teenage period, the adolescence, is really the time when that is preparing them for adulthood. You know, it's like the middle between being a child and being an adult. Yeah. So all the things that God has put into them, they are like budding. They started growing. You know, they start growing, and you know, they become tall. Voices change. Hair starts to grow in different places. So I personally believe that talking to children before something happens to them is very, very important. Yeah. Then the shock is less, and when the changes start to happen, they will say, oh, this is what I read about this, mom said this, oh, dad said this. So they will be able to welcome it more. So because relationship is about talking, it's about discussing, it's about understanding, one another. And we, the adults, we, the parents, we are responsible to teach them, because we've lived more than them. We are caretaker. We are supposed to show them the path and tell them at least what to expect, because knowing what to expect is very important for a mental health. If you expect something and it happens to you, you take it easier than when you don't expect it and it happens to you. So it's always very important to talk, give books. Today there are a lot of many documental videos, things that can explain how things are happening. So it's very, very important. Another thing one has to, when you said it's difficult to manage, is that sometimes the teenagers, they take it for granted. They think because they are tall, and sometimes nowadays teenagers are even taller than their parents. So they think because they are tall that they are wise. But science has proved it, that the brain of a teenager is still developing, and it's still growing. And I can't remember exactly, but I think they said boys grow up to 23 years old, maybe girls up to 22. I can't remember, but they still continue to grow. Only it's not very dramatic, But even after becoming 20, 21, they have left the teenage period, but they're still growing, But the most important thing about the teenager, the adolescents, is that their bodies grow faster than their brain. Yes. So that's why we see them, it's tall. You expect an adult attitude, behavior from him, but he doesn't have enough life experience, and his brain is still developing. So it's not right, to expect. I won't say perfect, because nobody has a perfect behavior, but to expect a mature behavior from adults, because the external growth, the physical growth is deceitful, the brain is still not where it's supposed to be, and they don't have enough life experience. We know how life experiences help us to form our values, to make better decisions in life, because we've probably made some worse decisions. We saw the result. We've lived longer than our children, so we had time to experiment, to see things that happens due to bad decision, due to bad complaints, our own personal experiences of other people. But these guys, no experience. It's the same thing when somebody is looking for a job. They always prefer to take somebody with some kind of experience. Yes. But these guys, they are still fresh. Yes. So we shouldn't be fooled. We shouldn't be deceived. They see you as big as you. So parents must be very careful. And another thing is that they're very emotionally sensitive at that age. So parents should be very careful with the use of words, with the use of words, because that is also the time of peer pressure, that's 11, 12, 13, peer pressure. So words, what they hear, but we cannot always control what they hear outside. But we, in our relationship with them, is very important to control our words, because they react very sharply to everything due to the process going on inside them, which is too much for them, but it has to happen. So it comes out that they're being too sensitive. Some withdraw to themselves, somebody that has always been sociable could become very withdrawn, isolated, or also at that age, as a reaction to what has happened, they could become more aggressive. Yeah, so I think it comes back to parents knowing what it is to have a child, knowing that the child will grow from 5 to 7, from 7 to 11, from 11 to 18. So the parents must study to know how to present to the child what the child is going through. Help the child to understand what the child is going through. Let the child know that I'm here for you. I also went through it. Most of the time I tell my children, I said that I was once like you. So yeah, we're in it together. I understand what you're going through because I didn't drop from heaven. I've walked the path, this road that you are now walking. I've walked it. Yeah, so I'm here to help you. I'm here. So use some of my life experiences. You will still have to, have your own experience, but you are lucky to have somebody, because that's what people pay money for, for coaching. They want to talk to successful people, oh, this successful businessman is coming, oh, this big politician is coming, we go and pay for them. But we also have successful coaches, as parents, and that won't take money, and it will be good if they can tap into the wealth, the knowledge that parents have. So it's very, very important first to understand the teenagers, to understand what is adolescence, what is going on at that time, and to be able to offer them the best support available. And like I said, the parents must know what is going on in a teenager's life, in order to be able to tell the teenager, even before the period starts, that this will happen, this will happen. It's just like in Christian faith, we like prophecy. So it's like, why do we like prophecy? Because people are always interested in what will come. Tell me what will happen. Tell me what. So we should also include. Yes, please. Yeah.
My question here is: some parents say that children are going to school, they have everything in school, they explain them anatomy, everything, what happened in their body. It is important also for parents to emphasize it.
God did not give children to the school, and God did not give children to the government. God gave children to parents. So sometimes this is very difficult to believe, but the most influential person in a child's life, when the relationship is still good or moderate, is still the parent. The most influential person. Yeah. So what the school is doing, and even the church is doing, those are supplementary. The basic thing should come from the parents. And it's good that we have school, it's good that we have church, but the parents should develop the topic. That's why when they come back, we ask them, how was this, how was youth group, what did you discuss in the youth group? And some teenagers, it was just a good. So a parent must know how to talk to a teenager, because when a teenager says good, that doesn't mean it's good, number one. And number two, we have to teach a teenager to really understand what he's saying. Does it mean good, or is it that he doesn't want to discuss? Yes. So normally my children, when I ask them, they say good. So I said, okay, please, can you come and sit down and please tell me what is good? I mean, what did you, I asked other questions to really get a picture of what happened and to see where I could add something to. So sometimes I ask them how many people are there. If I know some of the people, I say, oh, was Anna there? Was Mary there? How are they doing? What did you eat? And when you said good, what did you mean by good? Is it because you had your friends around you? Is it because of the entertainment you had, or the topic, or the way the topic was presented? Because we are older, we are more mature. Yeah, so more responsibility is on us. So we shouldn't expect them to do the talking themselves. We have to help them. We have to help bring those things out of them in a very easy way, in a very cool way, not like commanding them or something, in a friendly way. Because the paradox of it is that they want to talk, the teenagers, they want to talk, but they want to be sure it's a safe talk. You know, they want to be sure that it's a safe talk. They want to be sure that you will not use whatever they're saying against them. You know, they want to be sure that if you know something about them, you'll be able to walk through it with them, and you will not use it against them or
talk to other people.
Yeah. I remember I think I had it with two of my children, and I will ask, why did you lie to me? And they would say, because I thought you would punish me. So, you know, different things happen, and we had to use our that to teach them. I remember a few times they told me, two of them told me that we lied to you because we knew that if we tell you the truth, you will punish me. So I had to use that to teach them about consciousness. About their conscience. I had to use that to teach them that even if I don't know, God knows. Yeah. And God's punishment is even worse than my punishment. What can I do? So I had to use that to teach them, to build their character, to accept responsibility, to try to always report something bad they have done. You know, that I'm sorry, I would like you to know, to have a pure conscience. And if you are punished for something that you did, it's better than for you to have something in your mind. Yeah, and I always tell them, you know, because sometimes they do something and hide it, you know, and then there's a way God will always help me to find out, you know. There was a time one of my children, a teenager, she ate a snack. She ate a snack, and then the container, she put it back in place. So you would think everything is still inside, and there was nothing inside. Yeah.
A snack?
A snack, you know, yeah.
Yes, okay.
A snack, yeah. So then later I found out that the thing is empty. So when we were discussing, I said, but you know, sooner or later, anything we do will come to light. There is a way. God will always bring it to light, either after a year or 3 months or something like that, because that's the law of God. So issues like that, you know, in a very unjudgmental way, you know, that was how I built relationship with my children, discussion, and telling them that you shouldn't be afraid of punishment, because God's punishment is worse than that. And of course, so it's very important for parents to know how to open a discussion with their teenager. It's important to know that they are human beings. They are no longer small children, and their physical look is showing that, only they still need some help, because the brain is not where it's supposed to be yet, and they've not had enough life experience. So that is very important.
So yes, to communicate with them, to tell them things before, and to let them realize that there's no way to hide. It's better to say, even when they make mistakes. Yes. So when you say about that, I think about punishment. And when children are little, it's very easy to find some punishment. But when they become big, and how did you manage about punishment? How did you manage the punishment when they become conscious?
Yeah. Of course. Luckily for me, where I raised my children, we could smack, we could beat children. I know that in Europe you don't do that, but luckily I was able to do that. And when they were smaller, they had that. But when they are grown up, and it's not necessarily to a certain age, some children as little as 8, you will know that no, I should stop using like physical punishment. So we had to use alternative punishment. That is what we call grounding. You can ground them not to go to visit their friends for a week. You could ground them from using the internet for a day or 2 days. You could give alternative punishment like washing the plates for 2 weeks, doing extra things in the house. I remember I also used writing like a comprehension, so they did something bad. So write do you understand what's an essay? Yes. A comprehension. Write a story, about why it is bad to do this, to do this, and to do that, because I wanted them to be able to sit down, think about why, after we've discussed it, I'll say, okay, can you go and write an essay, a short note about why you think it is not good to behave this way. You write it and come and do it to me, give it to me. Also, there was a time I told one of my daughters to write a sentence for the same sentence 50 times, on a paper, 50 times, and come and show it to me, A different kind of alternative punishments we could. Yeah, it is very necessary because we get punished anyway, and it's very necessary from a young age for them to understand cause and effect. Cause and effect. And if somebody understands that there is punishment, because it is that consciousness of punishment that helps us to behave, even you, even me, because I know that if I spend all my money before the end of the month, I know there will be punishment. It's not that somebody will come and beat me, no. But if today is the 15th of the month and I've spent all the money I needed to spread till the end of the month, if something happens on the 16th, something little, something small, something that is costing €5, but if I've spent my money and now I needed to do that, that is punishment. Yes. That is punishment. Nobody is beating me, but that is punishment, Or maybe if we abuse food or we drank too much of something, then we have stomach something, that is also punishment. So it's very important to build that in children, because this is something you will need all your life. Yes. all your life, you know. And those are the things that help us to check ourselves. And that makes us a normal people in the society. Because if everybody in the society will start doing what they like, we think the world is bad, then it will become a worse place. Yeah. So that is that. Would you like to add?
Yes. I wanted to emphasize speaking about faith, because when you speak punishment and about faith also, because sometimes children don't know God, like like their parents. We tell them, you do that, you read the Bible, you do that, but how can we help them also to belong to know personally God, and in that way? Because we have speak about physically transformation, but what about faith?
You know, the best way to help our children to have faith is to be good Christians ourselves. A lot of teenagers whose parents are Christians going to church, many of them, they have problem with God, with faith, because they see two kind of life. You see, maybe in the church they see their parents very nice to people, very understanding, smiling, and then when they come home they become harsh. In the church they have time for everybody, at home they don't have time. In the church they say one thing, you know, maybe the pastor, they praise the pastor, maybe it's oh yeah, you are her father, her mother, and things like that. Then in the house they might be criticizing the pastor. This is very damaging for anybody. Yeah. So a lot of youth, they were just waiting to get out of the system, you know, out of this system of one life here and another life there. They don't like it, you see, and that is why they get confused, you know. So the best way, one of the best way to bring the faith to our children is to be true Christians, to be example, you know, to our children. Again, another one is explain what you do. Explain why we go to church. Explain why we do this. Explain why we do that. Yeah. Children, you know, even Jesus said, remember that when they were bringing children to Jesus for him to bless them, remember? Yes. Just to bless them. Yes. And some people didn't want to allow them. And Jesus rebuked them and said, let the children, you know, come to me. Yeah. So it's very important that we have programs for different age, different level, different stages of development, you know. That's why I like the Sunday school, because they have special books with different paintings, things that, if we are talking about younger children. For teenagers, it will be different games, it will be quiz, something, you know, that they use, that is common, you know, in their age, you know, film, you know, different action, because teenagers, they like action. So we should try that the church is not boring, you know, it's not boring for them. That is very important. And another thing is that we should listen to them. We should listen to them in the sense of faith. We should always discuss, ask them, what do you like? How will you do this? What will you do differently? Yeah. I remember in one of my churches, where I think we have some Sundays that the youth are responsible, you know, for the service. Yes. Yeah. So they can do things their own way. So it helps us to see how they are thinking, how they see church, how they can enjoy church. Of course, you cannot have something that fits everybody, because you have younger children, you have teenagers, you have middle age, you have older people. So that's why we have different ministries in the church. But once in a while, I give different age group the opportunity to lead the service. And it's always interesting because they always come from their own point of view. But the most important thing and the best person that can really present the faith to the children is the parents. The parents. To be a good example. Then what is being done in the church will bring more results. It will be like strengthen what has already been done. So it will be like home is good, church is good, because they are saying the same thing, and nobody is living a double life. That double life have really caused a lot of damage to teenagers. And it's made them to be a little bit agnostic, anti. They will tell you they believe in God, but they don't.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to listen all those. Counseling is very, very important. I think if there is some parents who have more questions, could contact us for other questions. Yes, because I think in that century there are many distractions also in children or in youth. Distractions, telephone, internet, social media. What could you say about parents? How for us we can manage that multimedia in children? Because even at 10 years they start to asking phone and to be TikTok, everything. How for us we can manage that?
It's restrictions, like because even the social media is a big problem for some adults. Talk less of teenagers or younger children. So there must be rule, a very strict rule. Like you use the internet after your own work, you use it for 2 hours or for 1 hour. So there's no other way to do it than restricting them. Yeah. There's no other way, because the social media is you need to be mature,
It's like a drug.
Yeah, it's like a drug.
Addict.
Yeah, it's you would rather go to social media than doing other things. So we just have to teach them to restrict themselves. Even I myself, sometimes I put off internet, because it's very drawing, it's very enticing. So if I want to meditate, if I want to do something, I put off internet so that no notification, I can be focused, I can be myself. So we have to explain to our children and help them to have priority. Let them know that you will always want to go to social media first before reading books, before doing your own work, before doing other important things. But you must learn to control yourself, Do this, there may be a little bit of social media, and we can help them when they are at home. Things are really much difficult now, much difficult now, because many things are easily available now. But through discussion, through discussing, letting them understand, learn from their mistake. But for the younger ones that one can still control, one should control. It's not that you can't. It's the same thing with cartoons. When my children were growing up, we didn't have too much internet, but we had all these cartoons and things like that. And cartoons, some of them are very good. You have Christian cartoons and things like that, because children need a lot of game, a lot of entertainment. So you just teach them to build priority and let them know they will always need it, because it's the same control and priority that even I use today, because I still need to be able to plan my days before going to social media. Make sure, have I done important things in my life, Yeah, because some people, they wake up and the first thing is social media, things like that. But in the real sense, we must have priorities. What comes before what?
Okay, thank you very much. Very happy. And if you have questions, if you have any questions, you can write down and we will answer. God bless you. Bye-bye.